in Forsyth County, but I lived for 8 years in Greenville, right up the road from Orangeburg. So that's great. Let me tell you, you're gonna want a warm coat, and you'll be fine. There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. So, but yeah, Greenville is my favorite place in the world. We can like scrap to talk about Dartmouth. We can just talk about Greenville, South Carolina. It is amazing.
So I will say, you know, Hirsch was giving me all of these. No, Hirsch is excellent, but I was gonna say Hirsch has been giving me all of these excuses and reasons, like, you know, my work schedule is really busy. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sign on to a lot of the calls this semester, you know, because I'm so swamped. I'm doing, you know, all this and this and this, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we got Dartmouth coming up next Tuesday. Oh, I'm gonna be on that call. I'll be
right.
on.
He made time, right?
I mean,
that's great.
I can make that one out. The rest of them we'll see, but I can definitely make that one. So I'm glad that he's on board, and I'm glad that you are here. And I'm sure we'll still have some students kind of joining throughout. We got about 25 on the call right now, so we can go ahead and get started. I already started the recording, so anybody else that misses anything, they'll just watch it later on the tube.
Well, so while we start, it seems like we started on this theme already. So I'm going to ask everyone to real quick and drop in the chat your favorite class. I know that we've decided apparently in the chat that we despise math in general, but the favorite class that you're taking right now, just drop it in the chat. I just want to see. I'll tell you about my favorite class that I ever took in college after. So AP World History, that's great. Wow, Destiny loves math, so that's a great sign. Love that. AP Gov, man, it is an interesting time to be an AP Gov student. I'll tell you that right now. Spanish one because it's easy. We're gonna get there, don't worry.
I need to say this one other thing too before you get into it. So recently, this past weekend, Ms. Ward and I were on a call with a different trio program, and they did something that I thought was really interesting. And I said I was gonna steal it from them because, you know, that's a sincere form of flattery. And so they actually do raffles almost every time they do Zoom calls.
Yeah.
And in their raffles, students that are on the calls and students that, you know, keep their cameras on during the calls get like extra entries into a raffle. So I'm just telling y'all know me. I always want y'all to have y'all cameras on because I think it's terrible to look at all of these names and boxes. I love y'all names, but I like your faces more. But today we will be starting that. So if your camera is on during this call, it will benefit you more because someone will win a prize today. Just letting y'all know. I'll put that out there.
Like my camera will be on. It will be at the ceiling, but you will see my ceiling fan. Which is important.
I need to be much more specific, right, Eric? So if I can see most of your face, not just eyebrows, right? And forehead.
I saw some like TikTok likes in here. That's great. Well, awesome. I want to keep this casual, y'all. I know that we spent a lot of time on Zoom, so I want to keep this as fun as possible. My name's Eric. I work at Dartmouth, which is, I'm in Hanover right now. It looks a little bit more white right now behind me. There's a little bit more snow on the ground than this picture entails, but we'll get into that. And I've been up here for 4 years. I moved up here from, as I was talking about, from South Carolina. So it's possible, you know, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing choices. Like it is something that you adhere to. And I want to make sure that you get some information and don't just have to stare at my face, because the last 2 weeks have really done terrible things to my facial complexion. So I'm going to give y'all a little something to look at again, but I'm not going to, you know, talk at you for the entire time. So kind of starting out right off the bat, I do want to kind of take a moment to kind of set the groundwork. Dartmouth is the 9th oldest institution in the country. We were founded in 1769. And Dartmouth's history is, I think, something really important to start with, because it is really different than the other schools who were founded around that time. Dartmouth was founded originally, and our charter is for the education of the indigenous peoples of the colonies at the time. Our charter is from King George, and by education, it really meant Christianization of those people, which is problematic for a number of reasons. We're going to set that aside for a moment because it gets worse. The founder of the college worked with one of the pastors in the area who was a member of the Mohegan tribe, Samson Occam. And he raised a ton of money for the college. He went to the UK, raised a ton of money. Dartmouth would not exist right now if it weren't for that initial fundraising trip. Economists at Dartmouth estimate that up to a third of our $6 billion endowment is owed to that. So we would not exist if it weren't for that trip. He brought that money back from the UK, and then the founder of the college screwed him over. In the subsequent 200 years at Dartmouth, we educated about 24 Indigenous people. And in the 1960s, though, the president at the time, President Kemeny, recommitted Dartmouth to that mission. We now educate more Native American students than all the other Ivy League schools combined. It's a huge part of the education that you receive here is not just learning the history of Dartmouth, but learning the fact that you are sitting on unceded Abenaki land. It's something that you learn when you first arrive here, is that this is part of who Dartmouth is. You'll learn a lot about not only Native American, but Indigenous cultures around the world. And it is something, even if you're a chemistry major or a physics major or I don't know, an economics major, you're going to have classes that intersect with that. So I think that that's really a helpful thing to start with a lot of the time. But exactly where are we? Students are coming to Dartmouth from all around the world. We are in a very small town. If you looked up like cliche college town, there would be a picture of Hanover, New Hampshire. It really is that place. And we are right on the border of New Hampshire and Vermont. We're about 2 hours from Boston, 3 hours from Montreal, and 4 hours from New York City. But students are coming to our campus from all 50 states, from 97 countries, who speak 50 different languages. We have 27 Indigenous tribes represented on Dartmouth's campus. And you're going to interact with these people all 4 years. Dartmouth is the smallest member of the Ivy League. We only have about 4,300 undergraduate students. So if y'all like your smaller classes now, where you get to know your teachers, where you can joke around with them, where you have I don't know, kind of what we were just having a second ago, a little bit more banter, a little bit more conversation. That's going to be a lot more like what classes are like at Dartmouth. I will say it's a double-edged sword, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Your faculty know all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses, and they definitely won't be weaknesses at the end of a class at Dartmouth. But it's because of this really close-knit environment and the place that we occupy here in this, and you can recognize this from my background. I think it's a great shot. Is very much centered around the residential aspect of Dartmouth. Dartmouth is a place where upwards of 95% of students are going to live on campus all 4 years. You're going to be in this place that is surrounded by nature on every side. So we sit right on the banks of the Connecticut River. It's right behind campus. We have a boat dock and a kayak landing where you can head out there whenever you want in the summer, probably not in the winter. You have just north of campus, Occam Pond, which you'll head to during the summer to go swimming, and the winter you'll go ice skating on it. Dartmouth actually owns 2 mountains. We're one of 2 institutions that own a mountain, and we have 2 of them. One of them is a skiway, which students will head to all winter long. The other is more of a hiking mountain. We sit right on the Appalachian Trail, technically speaking. If you come to Dartmouth and walk around campus, you will technically be hiking the Appalachian Trail for 4 years straight. And it is a big part of who Dartmouth is, to be tied to the environment. And that's not to say every day of your life is going to involve like hiking or like being super outdoorsy, but I think because of the kind of natural, kind of beautiful setting of Dartmouth, it is a place that's just a little bit more relaxed. You can kind of figuratively and literally breathe a little bit easier in Hanover. And I do think that that makes a huge difference in your 4 years while you're here. I think that it just kind of sets a tone. You're going to be in a place where you're going to see all 4 seasons, and man, do they happen in full. You're going to have a full fall, and you might not be out in the river, but it's right there, right behind campus. You're going to have no light pollution. So you can have facilities like the Shaka Observatory where students are going to head to, all year long and study astrophysics, or just go for open hours and look up. At Dartmouth, we have an organic farm about 2 or so miles up the road. So students will head to that and study sustainable agriculture or aquaponics, or just go up there. They have a great brick oven pizza. Highly recommend. That's where I go. You are in a place where you can take advantage of Dartmouth's setting. And one of the big things I think at Dartmouth is that, why would we just have you study concepts in a textbook when we could get you out doing it? I think Dartmouth's huge advantage is that if you want to pursue research, if you want to be answering questions, not just asking them, then you're at a place where, Dartmouth is, that top tier of undergraduate research. We don't have anyone else to do it though than you. We really rely on undergraduates to conduct that research. So a lot of the learning that you're doing is through adding to the body of knowledge that's out there. It's a huge component. When you, I don't know, this is a good shot. So why would you study bee colony collapse, which is just a huge problem in North America, when you could, in a textbook, when you could actually study ways that you can combat it. We have a lot of students I saw in the chat that are interested in government. New Hampshire is the first primary in the country, and every 4 years there is a truly nonstop rotation of candidates coming to campus. I think in quite literally the past year, I probably saw, I don't know, 13 of the candidates. There were like 300 people running for the nomination, as we know. But you could even be involved with it yourself. Up until his graduation this past summer, this is Garrett Muscatel. He was the state representative for Hanover. He was a student at Dartmouth. He's gone on to law school now. He was the youngest openly LGBTQ legislator in the country, and served, beyond just studying government, but being part of it, setting policy for the state. When you have the opportunity to be a little bit more, I think, practical in how you approach your education, you are about creating solutions, not just studying the questions, but being part of the solutions that are out there. And you can only really do that in a small academic place. As I mentioned earlier, if you like your smaller classes, that's what classes are going to be like at Dartmouth. The average class size at Dartmouth is about 19 students, but I think y'all, I know y'all are smarter than that. Though. Don't let schools get away with telling you what their average class size is. Averages can be really skewed. I think a much more indicative metric is that this current term that we're in, winter term is starting just right now at Dartmouth. The largest class that we have is 102 students. We have 4 classes that have more than 60 students in them. That's it. You are going to be expected to, contribute a lot in class. I think that is a huge shift. Maybe, I know in my high school career, you would go in and kind of review the information that you read the night before. A really different approach with faculty at Dartmouth is they're going to know that you did the hard work the night before, and you're expected to know the information when you show up to class. And what you do with that information, how you challenge it, how you integrate it with other ideas, how you, leverage it to solve a problem. That's what you're going to do in the time you have in class together. How to debate it, how to represent ideas and share them with your peers. That's what we want to spend time on. And we are a liberal arts institution. We do expect students who hate math to take a class that is in quantitative and deductive sciences. So even if you hate geometry, or if you love math, like you love algebra, pre-calc, when you look at these requirements, I think it's maybe more helpful to kind of break it down. So you'll see that a lot of them are kind of like enigmatic, like they're a little bit more vague, and that's intentional. If you're a student at Dartmouth who is all about math, that's great. You are going to have quantitative and deductive science classes coming out your nose. But when you look at a requirement like, let's see, arts. So you look at an arts requirement. If you wanted to, as an engineering major, let's say, take a class in, I don't know, classical music, go for it. You're more than welcome to do that. You probably don't want to take a class on classical music, and that's fine. We're not going to make you do that. Why not instead take a class on production design? So that's going to be a class that is using a lot of math to design how sets are constructed for shows at Dartmouth, shows in Broadway, how scene designers use optical imagery tricks to trick the eye so the audience is seeing something that is maybe more complicated than what is actually up on the stage. That's going to be a class that's a very different perspective than your other engineering courses, but it's taught in a way and in a more kind of engaged way for you to be able to still find applicable elements in it. And the flip side of that, say you are, I saw a lot of people who were talking about interest in kind of the sciences in general. You look at a requirement like literature. If you wanted to take a class on, I don't know, the Bronte sisters for your literature requirement, you can certainly do that. When you leave high school though, and if you're majoring in, I don't know, let's say biology for the sake of the argument, if you're majoring in biology, you probably never want to read Jane Eyre again. And I don't blame you. I don't want to read Jane Eyre ever again either. Why not instead take a class that's on environmental writing? It's going to be a class that's taught again from a different perspective, but is going to tie in with how you understand information, and teach you how authors over time have conveyed really complicated ideas like climate change or sustainability to the entire population, and that's going to be just a different perspective than the ones that you have. I should have mentioned this as we opened up. If y'all have questions throughout, just drop them in the chat. You can also just like unmute yourself and yell at me, whatever you want to do. One thing though that is really unique at Dartmouth, and obviously there are a lot of schools that are liberal arts institutions, we have a quarter system at Dartmouth. I mentioned winter term. It just started at Dartmouth, and for us it's a true quarter system. And I think that this graphic is really helpful in conceptualizing it, because it can honestly be pretty confusing. What you see here is basically 4 seasons, 4 years. We love you, please leave after 4 years. And then again, there are only 4 seasons in a year, so pretty straightforward there. You see that you are deciding what your 4 years at Dartmouth looks like. So fall, winter, spring, summer terms, you'll see that there are some that are required. We require you to be on campus your first year at Dartmouth. You're not going to want to miss that. Same thing goes for senior year. Again, you're not going to want to miss that. So that's a required on-campus term. And then the midpoint, the summer after your sophomore year, all students stay on campus. So if you think of it kind of as a line, it's the 2 endpoints, or the 2 end years, and then the midpoint. Other than that, you're deciding what terms you're taking classes, what terms you're doing research full time, what terms you're doing internships full time, what terms you're taking off as breaks, like that's allowed too. You are gonna only each term take 3 classes at a time, which probably sounds like a joke, because I know most of y'all are probably taking what, like 6, 7, 8 classes. It's probably gonna feel like it's gonna be a walk in the park to do 3 classes at a time. Each term at Dartmouth is 10 weeks, so it moves quick. If you think about, for y'all, if you're taking like a year-long class, that's probably like 35 weeks that you are taking that class. You cover the same amount of material at Dartmouth in 10 weeks. So it moves fast. I had a student who referred to it as the lightning round. It's not quite that dramatic, but you are able to really focus in on those classes and kind of commit to them full time. And then the next term, you're deciding to do something different. There are a lot of emergent properties of the quarter system. One of them is that you're going to actually end up taking more classes than you would on a traditional semester system. So you can take a class just because it's interesting, or because the professor is cool, or because your friends are taking it. Sometimes that's why you take classes. That's the benefit, is that you have just more flexibility there to be able to do it. One big thing though is that you're not necessarily going to be doing research or an internship in the summer when every other college student in the country is looking for an internship. You're not, applying for the same summer internship as everyone, where you're going to be probably making copies and getting coffee for someone. You're not, elbowing students, your peers in the face to see the inside of a lab. You have the flexibility of the quarter system, that you might be doing an internship in fall or winter or spring when no one else in the country is doing it. You also have the chance to, I think, be a little bit more, direct in it too. If an opportunity presents itself, take it. I had a student who was during her junior year planning to work for us in spring term. She was studying abroad in winter. We'll talk about study abroad in a second. Studying abroad in the winter, and she was on an art history trip, was a history major. And she loved the work that this museum was doing on antiquities. It was in Greece. And she decided to stay and do research full time that following term. She had planned to come back to campus, but the opportunity presented itself for her to stay in Greece and continue to study. I would do it too. And she was able to say yes and take advantage of it. So you can be a little bit more adaptive, with opportunities that come up because of the quarter system. Study away is a big thing at Dartmouth. We lead the Ivy League in the number of students who will study away. And there's a couple of reasons why that's the case. One of them is definitely the quarter system. Just the fact that you have more flexibility. You can study away with programs that are in no way, shape or form related to your academic area. As you see here, some of them are domestic, some of them are abroad. We run in a typical year, obviously not this year, about 60 trips. There's only one academic major at Dartmouth that doesn't have a study away affiliated with it. It's theoretical math. I don't know what you would do on a theoretical math study away. It sounds awful, to be honest, but even if that were your major, you are still getting distribution requirements and general education requirements when you're studying away. Again, you're not going to be behind because you chose to do something. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, I'm curious because I've never heard anyone say study away, study abroad domestically.
Yeah.
So I see Los Angeles as a study away destination.
Yeah.
And I just want to understand that, because in my head, if you're doing, a semester or a quarter on another campus, you're just a transient or transfer student. So what does study away look like domestically?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, and kind of ties into how it's also a little bit different as well. So you're still taking 3 classes at Dartmouth, and you're taking classes with Dartmouth professors, Dartmouth students. You're taking Dartmouth classes, getting Dartmouth credit using Dartmouth money. So you're not going to another school. And in some ways, what's the point of studying away if you're just going to sit in a classroom in another place? We want you out doing things. So the study away program in LA is one that is, surprise, tied to the film and media industry. So they do a lot of work with that. We have a lot of alumni who work in that area. We'll get to that slide in a little bit. So students are out in production lots. They are working with music media production companies and doing dispersed internships with them. So you might have, you'll still be taking 3 classes, but you're doing 10 weeks of internship time a week, maybe as part of that. In that particular one, we have one, it's actually this one that's pictured here at the bottom of this slide, called The Stretch. It is, I think it's one of our oldest study away programs at Dartmouth. It's an earth science one that starts in Canada in the Canadian Rockies, and you hike for 10 weeks south. And you are the entire way collecting samples, conducting research. This is for someone who is really into nature. You would not catch me dead on this trip. I would probably die. But for a student who's super interested in that, it's obviously, half domestic, half not, or maybe not exactly half, but you're out doing stuff. You start, in Alberta, and you move down. I think it typically ends somewhere around the Grand Canyon, conducting geology research and research on plate tectonics and stuff that I don't understand. For a unique type of person, you look at a trip like the Costa Rica trip. We have a similar program that goes to Puerto Rico, so that's a domestic version of that that looks at tropical ecology, but it also on that trip looks at the Puerto Rico trip. There's also a class that's a government class, and you're looking at Puerto Rican politics and Puerto Rico sitting at this kind of interstitial state as a US territory. And you're looking at Puerto Rican independence movements and how that's changed over time and the history of that. And you're also looking at the fish species in the area and estuaries and stuff like that. So it's not just one academic major on a trip either. And that's another huge part of why I think study away at Dartmouth is great, is that you're not just picking up, I don't know, 20 biology majors and plopping them in another country. And not that wouldn't be interesting, but you're going to have a more dynamic conversation about some of these topics when you have different perspectives that are coming in. when you have students who have taken a different set of classes approaching that conversation. And that's what, that's what liberal arts is all about, is having those kind of more, I guess, intersectional conversations. And regardless of where you go to college, I highly encourage you to study away. Take it from an old man like me. There's going to be no other time in your life where someone says like, hey, do you want to peace out to a foreign country for a few months? So do it. At Dartmouth, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but you're taking Dartmouth classes, all of your financial aid, all of your scholarship transferred is the same exact thing as being at Dartmouth for a term, which is why about 60% of students at Dartmouth will study abroad once, 30% will go abroad twice, and 10% 3 or more times. And don't get me wrong, we love students and we want you to be on campus, but like go study in places that are going to give you an opportunity to explore in a way that you might not be able to otherwise. And when you're back on campus, I think that that conversational sense is so much of Dartmouth. As I mentioned earlier, faculty become a big component of your life. This is what classes sometimes look like at Dartmouth. This is a class that's in Sanborn, which is a very old, it looks like it's honestly straight out of a Jane Eyre building, Jane Eyre novel class. And it's a class on representations of intersectionality in poetry. Really specific class for students who are really interested in specific conversations, but it's an opportunity to have meaningful, in-depth debate sometimes. You are going to find that upwards of 30, 40, 50% of your grade in a lot of these classes is going to be class participation, because it's the things that you bring to the classroom and the ideas that you are sharing. That's what it's all about. You'll find that your faculty aren't there to like talk at you. A lot of times your faculty don't talk that much in a class. They are facilitating that conversation and leading you kind of along it. A couple more things that I want to touch on briefly, and then I want to leave plenty of time for questions for y'all. I would say that the average Dartmouth student's overcommitted, whether it be things that they've continued doing from high school, whether it be athletics or the arts. We have a really big arts program at Dartmouth. This is a production of Cabaret, as you can maybe tell. And about half of the cast is typically not theater majors. About a little over 40-ish% of our symphony orchestra, not music majors. You're still able to participate in visual and performing arts programs at Dartmouth without dedicating your life to that area. The same thing goes for athletics at Dartmouth. I think that almost paradoxically, because we're a Division I school, a lot more students are involved in club and intramural sports because they've played a sport or they've had that be a big part of their life for a long time, and they might not necessarily be playing D1, but they still want to have that level of like activity. I've seen intramural games get just as, if not more, intense than the D1 games. So we got to be careful on that. But you have students doing that in a lot of different directions. We also have a house system at Dartmouth that kind of structures the kind of student life aspect. Everyone is sorted into one of 6 houses. It is not Harry Potter. There's no hat. One of those houses does not doom you to a life of evil. But each of these houses is a neighborhood on campus, essentially, where you'll be living for all 4 years, whether you're coming back from studying abroad or coming back from an internship or whatever. You always have your kind of neighborhood to call home. There are a lot of things that happen through the house system. You have a house professor who kind of acts as they organize a lot of stuff, but they're also kind of like your mascot and advisor in a lot of ways. They'll host events at their house that are much more conversational, that you hang out with them. You'll have intramurals between houses. They'll also just have like times to blow off steam and eat junk food during midterms. And that is your house for the rest of your life. So, if you talk to someone who graduated last year from Dartmouth, they're like, yeah, I was in Allen House. I hate everyone at Schoolhouse. They're the worst. Just kidding. But you also at Dartmouth have living learning communities in addition to those. So whether it be identity based or academically based or general affinity groups are throughout campus, and you'll always be part of a house while you're here. But if you want to be in a house where only Spanish is spoken, because you're really working on your Spanish level proficiency, or you want to be in Triangle House, which is directly across the street from me, is a LGBTQ house, or you want to be in a house. We have a house called the Thought House, which was called that before it was THOT. It's not that thought. But I think it's hilarious. It's the Thought House. But it's a house where
that one. Let's throw Hirsch in that one, just so I can call him and ask him how the Thought House is.
How's the Thought House doing?
Throw him in that one.
Right, and it's this like house of like philosophy, and they like question life, which makes it all the funnier that it's a bunch of thoughts. So that will be your house community for all 4 years while you're here. Traditions are a big thing at Dartmouth, and I won't go through all of them, but Dartmouth just celebrated its 250th anniversary. Some of the traditions at Dartmouth have been going on for almost that long. What you see here is Winter Carnival, which is definitely one of the big traditions. It'll be interesting to see how this happens this year. But there's kind of a big weekend every year. There is Winter Carnival in the winter. Spring is called Green Key. In the fall, you have homecoming, which every school has homecoming. We get a little out of control. We have a bonfire during homecoming that gets up to 6 stories high. It's a long story. Hirsch can tell you next year. He's going to have a role in building that bonfire, which students do themselves. The first one, though, that you experience while you're here, and this will be kind of the last student life thing that I touch on, is first year trips, which Dartmouth has been doing for a little over 100 years. It's your first exposure to Dartmouth. About 93% of students will go on a first year trip right before orientation. It's you and about 120 other students in each section. And then that group gets broken up into groups of like 6 or 7. You, 6 or 7 other first year students, 2 upperclassmen off the grid, away from your parents, away from civilization, away from Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram, getting to know Dartmouth in a really intentional way. Trips run the gamut in terms of what they cover. There are trips that are for people who are into hiking or people who are into kayaking. There's a trip where you go and basically eat food on the organic farm for 4 days, which is more my speed. But at the end of each trip, you come to the lodge, which is at the base of Mount Moosilauke, which is one of 2 mountains that Dartmouth owns, and you spend the night there. There is a lot of there are a lot of aspects of trips that I can't tell you about because they're surprises, but suffice to say there is a lot of energy, there's a lot of singing and absurdity. But you stay up that night, that last night of those 4 days, listening to upperclassmen give testimonials about how Dartmouth has impacted them, what they wish they would have known, what they maybe would have done differently, things that they would have told their younger self. And it's the first introduction that you have to Dartmouth, kind of setting this vibe of Dartmouth is in many ways a family, for better and worse. Sometimes you want to kill your siblings, but it's a place where you're going to be for 4 years, but this is not a 4-year situation. Dartmouth is known for its alumni network. We're consistently rated #1 on the Grateful Grads Index. And this is a small sampling of that 80,000 people group. And I think one thing that's interesting, and I wonder how, I won't ask you, it'd probably be embarrassing if I asked y'all, actually throw in the chat, name some of the people that you see here. Let's see how much y'all can do. Some of them are probably going to age me, but Jake Tapper, nailed it. Lady from The Office, Mr. Robert, close. Makes me feel very old to hear that. Kelly, yep, Kelly Kapoor is there. Michelle Khan, close. Anybody else? God, I feel old, Mr. Robert. Mr. Rogers, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ashanti. Thank
really
you.
Embarrassed. Yeah, so y'all got a couple. So Jake Tapper is in the top corner there. He's a history major at Dartmouth, which I think is interesting, using history as a lens to look at current events and report them every night on CNN. Below him is Kirsten Gillibrand, who's a senator from New York. She was an Asian studies major at Dartmouth with a focus in Chinese language. Mr. Rogers is there in the center. I'm glad a couple of y'all can identify the card again. But he was a philosophy major, which I feel like oddly makes sense. You have Kelly Kapoor, also known as Mindy Kaling, in the bottom center, they're a drama major. That makes pretty clear sense. In the other top corner, you have Shonda Rhimes, who writes everything on television.
Y'all
She was
know
an English
Shonda
major.
Rhimes. Y'all just don't know that y'all know Shonda Rhimes.
Right, exactly. You know. If you've watched television on a Thursday night, right. You know. So anyway, you are part of an alumni network that is very robust. I think that is one of the things that you even start to get exposed to as you're applying to Dartmouth through an alumni interview. And I'm going to talk briefly about application stuff. I'm happy to answer more questions. The policy studies major, or policy studies lady, she's the chair of our board. And she also is, she was formerly the president of the WNBA, Laurel Richie. She's pretty boss. But in terms of the application process, I'm going to touch on this briefly. Y'all don't need to hear this ad nauseum. And if you do want to hear more about it, I'm happy to answer questions about it. I'd rather use this as a couple minutes, like give y'all some tips if that works. I know y'all have got some time before you get to this point, but the common application is obviously, how we get the most of our applications, but we also, as can be attested to, accept the Questbridge application every year and match with a lot of incredible students. And one big component of that, and one that probably gets a lot of press in the common application, is the essay. People will be asking you, people probably started asking you about your college application essay when you became a freshman in high school. You're like, I don't know where my first class is. No, I don't know what I'm writing my college essay about. I think the most important thing to remember is that we're trying to get a sense of your voice in the essay. We're not looking for you to cure world hunger or, tell your entire life story in 650 words. I have not seen that done well yet. I'll let you know when I do. We're looking to hear who you are through the way that you write. This is not an English paper. Please don't write me an English paper. It's about you. You can use first person. You can use colloquialisms. You can joke. If you're funny, be funny. If you're not, this is not the time to try. It's a chance for you to be authentic to your personality, because this is honestly the only spot in your application when your personality comes through. So keep that tucked away as a piece of advice there. I think that the other components, obviously we're looking for students who are academically ready, and we use your individual high school report, which is a document that has a lot of facts, figures, and statistics in it. But essentially it tells us about the water that you're swimming in, tells us about the classes that are offered at your high school, tells us about the big clubs or organizations, tells us about any hiccups that have happened along the way. They can give us additional information there through a school counselor letter that will tell us, oh, this course, was offered this term, then the teacher left, or this happened to Eric during his freshman year, which you might notice some things on his transcript related to that. It's kind of a way that we decode your transcript, a lens that we use to look at it. We go line by line through your transcripts at Dartmouth anyway, and a lot of institutions. A lot of folks will say, do you look at an unweighted GPA, a weighted GPA? Do you take the log of the GPA? No, we look at the grades that you've gotten in the classes that you've taken. It's a little bit more granular than that. And we look at the story behind those grades too. And this is, I think, really important to think about now, because the teachers that you have classes with right this very moment are going to be writing you a recommendation letter down the road. Not that you aren't always nice to your teachers, but keep in mind that the impression that you're making on them today is one that they're going to have to document on a piece of paper that they're going to send to me, months or years from now. So it tells us the story behind that grade and how you react to a setback. Honestly, sometimes the best recommendation letters are from classes that you didn't ace. Maybe you really struggled. Maybe you hate math or hate geometry, and you're struggling through that, and you had to put in the extra work. You had to do extra problem sets, or reach out and get a tutor and do some extra work, stay after class, meet up with that teacher one-on-one. When that teacher writes that recommendation letter, they're going to be able to say, may have not, aced the class, but was willing to put in the work when they faced an obstacle. And that's a lot more valuable to me than, Eric showed up to class, he turned in things on time, got good grades on things, thank you and good night. Not that that's bad, but I get more out of that first recommendation letter. And we at Dartmouth asked for a peer recommendation letter as well. We're one of 2 schools that asked for that. The other is Davidson. We want to know if you're going to be a good roommate, a good teammate, a good lab partner, and we look to your peer for that. We say plus or minus 5 years on that. Anything older than that is probably more of a mentor. Anything younger than that is gonna write in crayon. But someone who can speak to who you are when there isn't a teacher or a coach or a director or a conductor there, who can speak to that side of who you are. They're really fun to read. An application is not going to like sink or swim based on a peer rec, but they're really, really fun. And your friends are going to brag about you in a way that you never would about yourself, which is great. SAT or ACT at the moment for this next year, we are requiring it. If we've learned anything about 2020 in the last year of our lives, who knows? Keep an eye on that. I will tell you, in my 10 years now of working in college admissions, I have never thought that a test score was the most interesting thing about an application. I never run into my colleague's office and said like, wow, look at this test score. They're not that interesting. Particularly at Dartmouth, when you're sitting in a class of 12 people, filling in bubbles is not going to help you. The most important thing in your application in terms of your academics is how you work for 4 years and how it's shown through your transcripts and your recommendation letters. That is more important. At subject tests got announced today, but those are getting removed. So I got to update this slide. Subject tests, obviously, we don't require those. I mentioned alumni interviews, and I think that there's a lot of like anxiety around these too. I've been talking to a lot of students who are getting ready for those in the coming weeks. Alumni interviews are about you asking them questions, peppering them with questions about what keeps them engaged. Like, why does this person who graduated 20 years ago still stay involved with the college that they went to? How did it set them up for where they are at this point in their life? What have they done differently? And yes, they're going to ask you questions about what makes you interested in the school, but it's not an interrogation. And as long as you don't like roundhouse kick them in the face, like it's going to go fine. Just don't verbally accost them or anything. The thing that go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just saw a couple of questions. You don't have to go right to this, but a couple of questions popped up in the chat. And so they were asking just about ACTs and SATs and whether or not they have benefit. Can you speak a little bit to that, both kind of currently in pandemic and maybe, moving forward as well?
Right. I think that they're always taken in context, right? I mean, we often get asked like, what's a good score? I'm like, it's so relative, which I think that people assume like a standardized test, a 4-digit number is finite. Like if I get in this range, and the ranges are on the website, then I am in a good spot. And it's really misleading. One, because there's like false negatives and false positives there. A lot of students who are in that range are not necessarily successful. Y'all might have a friend who, I know I had friends in high school who were the laziest people I've ever met in my life, but somehow were really good at filling in bubbles. That might be beneficial at a school with like 60,000 people. It's not going to help you at Dartmouth to be really good at filling in bubbles. You're going to have to put in work. And I think that oftentimes, test score is going to affirm other things that we see in your application. More often than not, it is going to tell us things that aren't that helpful, because we're going to hear more from your teachers and your transcript about what it's like when you're in a classroom for hours a week, which is what college is. It's not 4 hours on a Saturday. So, it's a factor. I think it matters. I've stolen this from a colleague who used to work at Vanderbilt. It matters more than you want, but less than you think, is I think a good way to conceptualize it. It is not going to sink or float. I don't know. It's not sink or swim for your application. And there was a question about the benefit in pandemic and out of pandemic. I think that one thing that we do know is that most students who apply to Dartmouth only take the SAT or ACT once. Like that had been the case before. Now you're lucky if you're able to take it once. So you may or may not have that level of practice, and we know that. But that's also accounted for like in the psychometrics of the test that I won't bore you with. But know that we know that it's hard to do test prep when last spring your major extracurricular may have been making a grilled cheese for your younger sibling or like teaching them long division because like they were at home being annoying. Like we know that that's the case. Like you can't necessarily do test prep when your fall was spent balancing school and running errands for an older family member who is older and shouldn't be going to the grocery store 3 times a week or whatever. And those are things that we want to hear about in your application. It's also things that we know. Like I'm also waiting in line at Trader Joe's. Like I get it. We are also all having a pandemic. We know that it's not affecting everyone in the same way, and we want to hear about that. But we do know that it is impacting the availability of the test, and I think that will be reflected in policies down the road. I would say, and the question about Dartmouth, being an Ivy and whether this is shared among the Ivy League, I've been fortunate to do a lot of sessions with my colleagues at those other 7 schools, and I would say that this is pretty universal. What I just said there. I don't want to speak for them, but like again, I think that statement of matters more than you want, but less than you think is something that you can apply everywhere. Also, who can drop in the chat if you can tell me what the Ivy League is? Everyone's like, a sports league. Thank you. Of course, this is why you're going to Dartmouth. Very smart. Just a sports conference. We just play sports against each other. That is truly it. It's like the SEC or the ACC. Dartmouth and those 7 other schools have like nothing in common. They're good schools, but Columbia and Hanover, New Hampshire, like Manhattan and Hanover, New Hampshire could not be more different. Cornell and Dartmouth, similarity, it snows. That's it. But yeah, one last thing that I'll mention. As an Ivy League institution, one of the things that we do all share is that we all have both need blind admissions, meaning we don't consider a student's ability to pay when making an admission decision. And then all of us, including Dartmouth, meet 100% of that demonstrated need. So whatever those financial aid documents say is required to make Dartmouth happen, we got it. We are really fortunate every year to give about $110, $120 million out in financial aid. The long and short of it at Dartmouth and again across the Ivy League is that finances should not be a reason that you choose not to come here. And there are a lot of really helpful resources there. You see, our full tuition guarantee, the average scholarship package. This is outdated for this current year, particularly because of the pandemic. The average financial aid package at Dartmouth was $59,000 per year. We want to make Dartmouth possible for as many students as possible. Luckily, thanks to our alumni, we're able to do that. 2 things that I'll mention there, and I'm sure y'all are hearing about this a lot already. One is the net price calculator that every school has. It's long, it's in depth. It's kind of like doing your taxes. Not the most fun you'll ever have in your life, but really precise. Like it's going to tell you really pretty precisely what a financial aid package is going to look like from that college. There's also something called My Intuition that about 40 or 50 schools are part of. Dartmouth is one of those. It's 6 questions long. You can do it on your phone. It takes like 3 minutes. You might have to like bug a parent, but gives you a ballpark idea of what a financial aid package at Dartmouth and about 50 schools are doing it or are part of it might look like. And it's a really good place to start, especially as you're going through the search, because, I know I was like, oh, like the in-state option at my hometown, that's going to be way cheaper than any private institution. That really might not be the case. And it's important to take a peek at those things just to get a ballpark idea as you're going through the college search. Yeah, I'm much more interested in answering questions than me blathering on about stuff. I also have some like fun links if you're into that sort of thing. You can type them or you can yell them out, whatever y'all want to do. How are the dorms? We make everyone sleep in tents. So if you like hammocking, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the dorms are good. So as I mentioned, we have that house system, and within each like house community, within each neighborhood, there's gonna be a huge array of different like setups, whether it be doubles or suites or houses. Like there are houses in the communities, and you might live in one of those. Like you're in college, you're not like staying at the Ritz, but like you're gonna be comfortable and fine. How dining halls on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, everything has worked when you become an adult and you have to cook for yourself. Suddenly dining halls are the best places on the planet. I still recommend that. But you see here, it's called People, Places, Pines. It's our blog. There are a lot of blogs written by our students about what dining is like at Dartmouth. I'm a huge fan. They are largely huge fans. Having eaten in a lot of college dining halls, I can tell you this is definitely one of the better that I've been in. Do they have big rooms and roommates? What are those like? Again, room size is going to vary. Some of the buildings at Dartmouth were built in the 1700s. We've updated them since then. You're not like, walking in colonial time, but so it's going to vary a lot. But the how roommates work at Dartmouth kind of more broadly, you might have one, you might not have one at all. You might have three if you're in like a suite type situation. You fill out a survey that has, to be honest, an almost like intrusive number of questions, and they'll ask you questions that you probably think about, like, are you a morning person or a night person? Or do you like to study in your room, or do you see it as like a social place too? But also questions, or like, are you messy or clean? Basic stuff like that, but questions that you maybe haven't thought about because you haven't like lived on your own in this way. Like, are you someone who likes a room warm or cold? That can be a real sticking point. I can tell you that for the rest of your life with significant others. If you like things warm or cold, it's tough. Are you someone who listens to music while they study? And that pairing process is a little bit more, I don't know, in depth for when you're getting roommates. In subsequent years, you're going to choose who you want to live with, because you'll know those people. But we don't actually allow students to request a roommate their freshman year. Most students don't know anyone, but if they find someone on Facebook, they're like, oh, we have the same favorite band, we follow the same favorite people on TikTok, like we're going to be perfect roommates. A while ago, this was before TikTok existed, probably 10 years ago now, the highest, and we allowed people to request roommates, the highest number of roommate conflicts was among people who directly requested each other as roommates. So we've been doing this for a while. We have some real scientists on the job to find who are going to be good roommates. How does Dartmouth handle dual enrollment credits? So great question. So dual enrollment courses, I'll talk about it first from like an application standpoint and then from a like credit standpoint. When you apply, we'll look at your dual enrollment courses as that highest level of courses, if it is the highest level. If you've decided to, if your school offers, I don't know, I'm making this up, AP calculus, and you're choosing to take dual enrollment algebra, those aren't the same. But if you've like exhausted the math curriculum at your high school, different situation. So again, that's kind of where the school report gets into play. We're going to see all of the offerings at your high school and what you've chosen to take as a result. And then on the credit standpoint, it is on a case-by-case basis. I will say, by and large, because of the way classes are structured at Dartmouth, they're just scoped differently. Example that I threw out earlier, there's an entire class at Dartmouth on the Bronte sisters, those three authors and the time in which they wrote. If you take a dual enrollment English course, that's not going to translate in the same way. There's no version of that at Dartmouth. Or a biology class at Dartmouth might be an entire class on how invertebrates develop, like from embryo to like tiny human baby. That we have a class that's like structured like that. There's no like intro to biology examples, so some of them might not come in exactly as you expect. By and large, you're going to be here for 4 years at Dartmouth. It might change your course progression. You might like skip a level or something like that, but that's on a case-by-case basis. Sorry, coming in. hot and fast. Student organizations, we have a full listing of like the 350 student organizations at Dartmouth. If we don't have it, we have funding for it. The largest student organization on campus, I can't believe I didn't bring this up, is the Dartmouth Outing Club. I talked about earlier, like Dartmouth, doesn't need to be the most like crunchy granola place on the planet. But you're gonna be involved in the outdoors while you're here. So you might, learn how to ski. One of my favorite things to do, I work with a lot of students from the South and the West who've never skied a day in their life, is the first weekend of winter, go up to the skiway and watch all of my sweet little baby students learn how to ski for the first time. You're just watching them like time after time after time. It's great. I love it. But they also, through the Dartmouth Outing Club, run like a weekly diner tour, which is pretty much the opposite of being outdoorsy. You pile in a 15-passenger van and go to a greasy spoon diner somewhere in the Upper Valley. So like very different definition of what outing is, but it is an organization that has tendrils all across campus. Melanie asked a question about scholarship opportunities at Dartmouth, and that is one thing I want to pause on. All of the funding at Dartmouth is need-based. So we don't have any merit-based scholarships, but we meet 100% of that demonstrated need. So again, whatever those financial aid documents say, we are meeting that need. Yes, person can start their own student organization. I know we're coming up on time. And I think you need 9 other people. So you'll have plenty of people. If you want to start like a club about grits, I don't know, I haven't had good grits in a long time. Like a club about grits, go for it. We have a coffee club, so we probably need a grits club. You can have debates about the like great cheese grit versus, did any of you put sugar in your grits?
No,
I can't get behind that. I think it's disgusting.
No.
Out of the program if they say yes. No.
Right.
No.
Sacrilege. But like that's a thing.
Right. Good Southerners wouldn't put sugar in the grits.
Right. We've got 3 people right here. We've almost got a club started.
But since we're talking about it, I don't think I heard you answer this, and I saw that it's about to leave my chat box. Most colleges do, but I just want to make sure. How are the dining hall? Do they have dietary options for vegetarians, vegans, those kinds of things?
That is a great question. Yeah, and that is one of the things that I'm actually most impressed with dining at Dartmouth, is because they're feeding not just 4,300 undergraduates every day, but about 2,000 graduate students, and a lot of graduate students still eat in the dining hall because they like food that's made for them, and a lot of us, because again, who doesn't like food that's made for them? And they're still able to have an absurd array from the more commonplace dietary differences like vegetarian or vegan or gluten-free or halal or kosher, to like hyper specific ones. Like we'll have students who are allergic to certain enzymes and have certain foods that they can't eat. We have students who are allergic to corn, which corn is low-key in everything and you don't even know. So we have 3 dietitians in the office there, and if you have any of those restrictions, you'll meet with one of them during your first couple, probably your first week here, and talk through that. So, and even during the pandemic and the fact that we have about half of our students on campus right now, still able to feed all of those people and manage all of those moving parts and dietary restrictions, I think is so impressive. When I can barely cook food for myself. How's the privacy in Dartmouth? I'll try to answer this, and happy to try again if you want to clarify. Good. I think you'll have your privacy. I think that dorms and bathrooms, yeah. So I mean, you are living in communal style living. Sometimes your bathroom might be a communal style bathroom. That's not to say you're going to be. And this is something that I always thought when I was growing up, because I would see it on like movies and stuff, that like the hall bathroom was just like a shower head and a wall, and like it was all open. Like that's not how things actually work. Like there's like a stall, like there's like a little space. You have a little shower caddy. So, but you might have a suite where you have a bathroom that you share with 3 other people or 2 other people. So it will vary again from space to space. you might think that you want the suite style one, but then you have to clean it yourself. And man, cleaning, not a thing that you love doing in college. What kind of things are there to do in your school's hometown? Wow, Hanover is the cutest place on the planet. If you had to build a cliche college town, it would be Hanover. I think that because Dartmouth is, the center of gravity here, a lot of the things that are brought here are through Dartmouth. So whether it be, a Broadway show or a musical performance or a concert or, but Hanover does like lots of like cute things as well. There are community theaters in the area. There are concerts in the area. On Main Street, you can eat everything from, there's greasy diner food to, I think one of like the best Thai places I've ever been to in my life. It seems a little sketchy because it's like in a basement, but Tuk Tuk Thai, change your life. To like, you can have like excellent Indian or a great Afghani restaurant, or I don't know. You've got you're not going to go hungry. Any last things? I'm going to real quick and drop in the chat my email address. And if y'all have questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Admission officers are very real people too. I read a lot of the applications for students applying from the Southeast. So happy to be in touch if any of those questions come up.
Eric, I have a question. I have a question, Eric.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say your campus is beautiful. Like,
thank you.
Like just
I made it
looking at
myself.
the campus, man. It's like, man, I mean, I love my background because I think that
it's really pretty cute too, right?
But I mean, your campus is beautiful.
You put more work into your background than I did on this. I don't do anything for this. So.
I feel like I need to call my campus and ask for the drone shot. Like, yeah, give me this shot.
Right.
I have one question, Eric.
Yeah.
One question, I don't know if anyone asked this question. I noticed you put on there something about alumni and interview options.
Yeah.
Did anyone ask that question? And is that an option versus not? What are the options?
Yeah. Just by submitting your application, you're automatically going to be on the list for our alumni to reach out to you. So you don't have to request it or anything like that. You just have to check your email, which you'd be surprised. But we offer interviews to as many students as we can get. And usually around 75% of our students will be interviewed who apply. Some places have just more, and it's regionally based. Some places have more interviewers than others. Like we don't have like a huge interviewer population in like Mongolia. But like most domestic students are going to be offered an interview.
Okay, I noticed it was like an option of different ways to apply. So I was like, okay, to do it. Okay, that's all I have. But great school. I really like all the information. It's really impressive. Very impressive.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Absolutely. We appreciate you greatly. Guys, don't hang up for a second. I know that Mr. Eric is about to leave, but you guys stick around for just a second. I got a couple of things I want to say to y'all, and we're gonna do this drawing real quick.
Ooh, bye y'all. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
So a couple of things that I need to say. He left real fast. I'm gonna do this drawing really quick because it's going down. Thank you though for those of you that kept your cameras on, and for those of you that asked questions and stayed engaged. We really, really appreciate that. Like I said, I did decide I'm gonna kind of steal that from one of our sister programs, and so I'm gonna do that in just a second. Also, I wanted to thank some of you that did some of the events over the weekend. There were like a couple of different random things that we invited you all to. I know that Chanel was on one of the calls on Friday, and then there were quite a few of you that were on the call on Saturday, the little career day that the Thomaston program did. And then there was even though it was really late notice on our end, there was a movie showing last night for Dr. King Day. And I know, there were quite a few on that call as well. And that movie was great. I'm gonna try to figure out if I can get a copy of it. and maybe we can watch it for, you know, Black History Month or something, because it was really well done. I didn't, you know, I've heard of the book, but I hadn't, you know, seen the movie or anything. But it was just a really good kind of production of, you know, what the last year has been like in terms of race in America and stuff. So so I just want to thank, you know, some of y'all that were. The movie was Between the World and Me, Kelsey. I think that's the name of it, Between the World and Me. And it's based on a book that was written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And you know, it was really well done. So it was really just a reading of his book by a lot of different people. So Oprah and some of the Roots and some athletes and Don Cheadle and other people just reading, you know, his words. But it was just really well done. And so I just want to thank some of y'all that were doing that. Ms. Ward has a call set up tomorrow for specifically juniors. And so, you know, we'll be doing some of that tomorrow. It'll be our alum Danae will be back speaking. Some of y'all talked to her last week, but she's gonna come back and really talk some to the juniors. You know, if you're bored, Hershey, you want to log in. I mean, you was her assistant, you know, partner in crime last week. So I mean, we never sad to have you around. Any of you seniors that want to hop on, but Danae will be back tomorrow to kind of give some pointers for what juniors need to be doing as they close out junior year and go into senior year. So I hope to see some of these faces tomorrow. Ania, Destiny, you know, Ashanti, I hope to see all of y'all tomorrow.
What time is it?
It's the same time. It's
Same time, 3:30.
3:30 to like 4:30. So if you're not at work, be online. So
And also one more thing, Kenny. So guys, in the month coming, like actually between now and all of February and March, we're going to heavily grace you guys with your stipend, meaning we're about to cake you up with stipend. So whoever shows up, we're going to show out, okay? So especially in February, like there are going to be a number of calls. We're going to have a number of things going on. But we are really trying to make sure y'all feel it in your pockets.
And towards that end, let me say this, and we're trying to work this. No, we ain't even trying to work this out. It's worked out. That people might not know it yet. It worked out.
Right.
We are right now, I've been having some conversations with the school. I know that a whole semester is a very, very long time to wait. So I've been talking to the people at the school, and we're actually going to try to give you guys 2 stipends for spring. So we're actually going to try to give y'all a stipend in March and then another stipend in May. So we're working on that right now. Because we know, you know, having to wait until May to get your check. And for y'all, and for some of y'all new people that ain't got a check yet, you know that can be frustrating. So if you a new person and so you didn't get a check in December, hopefully you're gonna get a check in March. And for everybody else, we're gonna try to hook y'all up and get y'all checks in March as well. So, you know, I was doing this a lot this weekend, especially for the Clayton kids this weekend. West Clayton, y'all know what it is. Hey mama Smiley. For West Clayton, y'all know what it is. If you in West Clayton and we have an event, I remind y'all every time, go sign in. Because I don't take y'all names, West Clayton. I do not do it. I do not. Which is really funny because if Miss Ward isn't around and I'm around, I actually do take the Clayton names. Like I will take that everybody name that's in Clayton and I will send a message to Miss Ward and say, this is who was on for Clayton. I will do that and I will ignore every West Clayton name I see because West Clayton, you need to go sign in. I do that for Miss Ward because they can't sign in.
I appreciate
for West
that.
Clayton, sign in. I don't take y'all names down. So if you miss it, you just don't get credit. And I want y'all to get money. I want y'all to get paid. The sign-in sheet be open. It's open right now. It's going to be open until like 10 o'clock tonight. So if you are here, if you are underneath the sound of my voice, sign in before the end of the day. Because if you don't, you're costing yourself money. I don't want y'all to do that. I like to get y'all money. I like for y'all to get y'all checks and be like, ooh, wasn't expecting this much. I like when that happens.
Me too.
So start signing in when y'all come to stuff. Because some of y'all be showing up to a lot of stuff. And then I look in the system and be like, oh, we ain't talked to Baca all month? I'm sorry for picking on you, Baca. I'm just saying. It be like that sometimes. So when you be here, make sure that you get yourself credit. Y'all be trying to give Hirsch all the money. Like Hirsch signing for everything. He don't even live here. Y'all trying to let Hirsch get paid. I'm trying to spread the wealth around. So sign in when you show up. You know what I'm saying? It just can't be Hirsch and Michelle getting all the checks out here. I need some of y'all to start putting your name down. If you are Clayton and you're doing an event, especially if it's not one of our events. I mean, if it's one of our events, we kind of be here. It is what it is. But when we send y'all, like sometimes people really do just invite us to stuff. So when we have those other kind of random events and me and Ms. Ward text it out, we try to ask, and most of the time me and Ms. Ward will log on. But just in case, you're not going to offend me or Ms. Ward by sending a text message or sending an email saying, hey, I logged on to this call. And even if you just want to give us a sentence or two of what you thought, that's cool.
Right.
Do that because it'll make sure that we remember, like, you know, like I said, most times me and Ms. Ward are on. But if me and Ms. Ward don't get a chance to log on, I was late this weekend for the career fair. I logged on a little bit late. So if you're on one of those calls, it's not anything wrong with you texting Ms. Ward or emailing Ms. Ward and just saying, oh, Ms. Ward, I logged on to the career day with the other program. You know, it was cool. I just wanted to let you know I showed up so that Ms. Ward can make sure you get credit for it. So I'm just putting that out there for y'all. I want y'all to be clear that you're not going to bother us by shooting that email. Right. Some of you have been really nice about correcting me, and I appreciate you. I know I asked y'all for transcripts. I also know now, because some of y'all corrected me so hard, that the transcripts have not been updated yet. So when they get updated, we will ask again. Obviously, we normally get y'all transcripts just from y'all school. We'll go to the school or ask the counselor, and the counselors will give us most of y'all transcripts. Obviously, right now, things are difficult. So we will still probably request them from your counselors, but we will probably get them faster from you. Mm-hmm. So if you just go into your Infinite Campus, even if it's on your phone, once your transcript has been updated, and you screenshot it or save it as a PDF, and you email it to myself or Ms. Ward, that will probably get to us faster than us waiting on your counselor. We know they haven't been updated yet, but once they get updated, you can absolutely do that, and we would greatly apprient it. So
yes, I get credit for that. I get credit for that extra.
Yeah.
Extra.
You'll get a little extra.
Yeah, I get credit for that.
and listen. I know it sounds funny. Like, let me, Ms. Carr told me not to even tell y'all this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I'm gonna just, Ms. Carr, whatever. I don't even think she on the call, so I can do what I want. She can't check me. Let me look and make sure her name don't pop up, because she's gonna be like, Kenny, I told you, but she ain't even logged in. It's cool. So she told me not to do this. I'm gonna do this anyway. Recently, like the end of the year, we were sent an email from our big boss in DC. This is the thing. We are a grant funded program. As a grant, they give us kind of restrictions and things that we can and cannot do. One of the principal and primary restrictions they give us is stipend amounts. So what they have told us, and what has always been the rule, is that for any given semester, we cannot give you guys more than $40 a month for stipends, right? So, essentially, if fall semester, if there's September, October, November, December, we cannot give you guys more than $160 for those 4 months, right? We can't go over $40 a month. That's the rule. That's just kind of what it is. Second semester is 5 months, January to May. $40 a month. We cannot go over $200 is what they've told us forever. That's just kind of how it is. So, we give y'all what we can give y'all in the stipends, but the rule has always been $40 a month. That's what we can do. They sent us an email November-ish, right, Ward? Maybe in November. November, because it was after we had already done the stipends for the fall. I wish they put it early. But they sent us an email in November, and they told us that if we wrote up some stuff and did a request, they might approve us to give you guys more money in your stipends, right? So that's why Ms. Ward was like, we really trying to, cake y'all up, give y'all a little bit of extra funds, right? We want y'all to go where the money reside, we're trying to get y'all there, right? And so Miss Ward still sending her email. Hurry up, Miss Ward.
Yeah, and look, Sabrina, I saw King today, and she was like, "Girl, I got to send an email."
Yes.
So yes, but to that point,
yes.
I'm going to also I want to hire Speak Easy, Speak Life,
okay.
Speak Life, and so basically, like I was talking to Morgan earlier.
Another conversation. Let me finish the money conversation, then go to that.
Oh, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying about the money. So this is also part of the money, and so I'm going to start adding those in February, March, and and so they'll start doing these, and these are different sessions. So it's you guys are kind of, I've been talking to a lot of you guys, so a lot of you guys are stressed and need depressed, and so I want this person that does talk about mental health and just get you guys out of this funk. Like we're all in this funk, and so what I realized is I think that you guys are all suffering in silence, and I want y'all all to know that y'all are all feeling the same way. I just want y'all all to know that it is.
And not just
y'all. To talk to individual students, like it's just like even this morning, I had a student come visit me today. She was in for an hour and a half. I was like, baby, everybody feels the same, So I want y'all to know we are here for you, and we want to support you. But definitely, I want to definitely have some things in here outside of school, outside of what you do every day on Zoom. I want to, we want to influence you and give you some other stuff to think about. It's everything is not all based by grades. We know that. Right. But it's called life. Okay. So we want to bring some different people in to talk about, even what is it? Miss Carr, self-love, how to treat yourself and care for yourself. So I want to really talk about that. And I want you guys to really know, because I'm really concerned, because I'm getting a lot of that from y'all. So we're on it, and we're going to have different people to talk. Cause I feel like you can't, we're the same people. We're saying the same stuff over and over. It's not going to hit home. But when we have different people come in and talk to you guys, it's a different experience. So,
like I was about to say, well, they want me to talk about the money. Maybe she on Bria team out here. She want me to
I want them to get the money, and I don't want to chase you down.
So Miss Ward got to send her email.
This money.
So look, Miss Ward got to send her email. So Kelsey, I know Kelsey about that life. Kelsey, Ashanti, Indy. I'm gonna mess up your name because I always mess up your name. And goes, oh shit.
Oh no.
Help me out.
Okay.
I'm gonna get there. I'm getting there.
I'm gonna get it.
Y'all hold Ms. Ward accountable though, because Ms. Ward got to send her email. She need to do it like by the time we do that June call tomorrow, Kelsey, you need to ask Ms. Ward if her email.
I'm doing it right now.
Because right now, I did my email because Ms. Ward talked about it. And
how I roll. I'm still gonna put it in. Like
and so I have been. I was given permission
and say
to,
they did it.
I was given permission to take y'all stipend amount for West Clayton from a max of $40 a month to a max of $80 a month. So, but so that's quite a bit of extra money. And so, now y'all still got to be showing up occasionally to, actually get some money, right? But if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you signing in and you coming to, some of these events and doing what you're supposed to do, then, instead of getting a max of $200 for the spring, you might be able to get, closer to $400, right? And so I'm not going to be surprised if there are some of you that I get to give a $200 check to in March, and then I get to give another $200 check to in May, and that's going to be completely fine.
I'm looking at all of them right now.
Kelsey, I know you need that because you about to
be all the same faces
for cussing people out. So I know you need that. So Kelsey, stop fighting people at work. So I just want to put that out.
He shouldn't try me. He shouldn't try me.
Should have tried you.
Give respect, get respect.
Okay, well, like I said, we trying to make that happen. So okay, last thing, let me hit up a wheel. I don't even know who's still on the call right now. You know what I'm saying? People didn't, show
crack me up. Just crack me up.
Right. So look,
is my name in there?
Your name not in here. I need to put your name in here. Put Yolanda in here. Yolanda.
Thank you.
So all the names of people that were on the call is on here. Not just the people that was on the call, but some people got their names in here multiple times because they, were asking questions and they kept their cameras on and all of that wonderful stuff. So I appreciate y'all. And this is what we got right now. Okay. So let me shuffle these names up one more good time. You know what I'm saying? Because the names was in here. Let me just shuffle the order, switch them around. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can thank the Thomaston Talent Search program because they started doing this, and I was like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Now we not doing the kind of prizes they was doing. For anybody that was on that call with them, sorry, I love y'all, but it ain't gonna be like that. It ain't gonna be. I got $5 on this Cash App. That's what I'm down to give y'all. I got $5 for whoever spend and win. That's what we got. A little light work. Because I don't know where they got their money from. They had guest speakers donate their money. I didn't understand it. I was like, what? They did like 3 of these.
Yeah, $30 a piece.
$30 a piece. Like, what? $30? Stop.
Nope. Brooklyn got
and Brooklyn won. Yeah, one I get one, so I know they kids was salty. I know they kids was mad. Like
that's why honestly, that's why she went back in and put her own money in because our kids were winning. Yeah. And she was like, let me go in. She wanted her kids to win. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. I'm finna spin over here. Indy's ready. I see it. So we spinning. Indy, tell me. Oh, it stopped on its own. Let's see who wins. Kimberly is in the building.
Kimberly.
All right, wait. Kimberly. You gotta cut your camera on and say hello or something, because that's what they did in that other program. They was like, if the person ain't here no more, we take it, they don't win. Kimberly, you still with us?
Oh, gotta go to the next person. Go to the next person.
Going twice.
I'm right here.
Oh, wait, where you at, Kimberly?
Right here.
Oh, hey, Kimberly. I was gonna say you about to lose $5, Kimberly, if you are, you know what I'm saying? Because we going by their rules. We got this from them, and they said if a person ain't on the call no more, they don't get to win their prize. Kimberly, you got Cash App?
I can't hear.
Kimberly.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having some audio like.
You got a Cash App?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, you just remember that I owe you $5 then.
Okay.
And remind me of this day. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna see you. It might not be till March, but you remind me that I owe you $5.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. And since I don't gotta pay Kimberly today, and I was already, down to lose $5, let's just give it another run. Let's just see what happens. Because I already, in my brain, this $5 is already out. Oh, what is that? Christy.
All right.
Christy, you got Cash App? You better say yeah.
We got it. Yeah.
No, I do not have Cash App.
What? To non-technologically savvy kids. I'm joking, but what? I mean, none of these things. You got okay.
Nope.
No Cash App for Christy.
Do another one.
Cash
another
App
one.
for Kimberly.
Another one. Another one.
You know what? Let me shuffle these names up real quick.
Everyone, just say y'all don't got Cash App.
Just
say you don't got Cash App.
Hurt, this is the last one. It ain't go. This is it. Matter of fact, let's take out Christy's name.
Why don't you take out everybody who doesn't have Cash App?
Oh, that's smart. Anybody want to tell me they don't got Cash App? Who else ain't got a Cash App around here? No Zelle, no nothing.
Nah, no one.
Hey,
no one want to say that.
Mr. Kenny, you got Apple Pay?
I do, but does Christy have Apple Pay? That's the question, not me.
Right. I don't have anything.
Right. Good job, Baka. I was with you, but I don't think it mattered. Okay. Last one. Man, I'm putting that $5 in their stipend ward.
I guess so. You might as well.
I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna just Christy and Kimberly. It's just gonna be $5 in your extra $5 in your stipend. All right, let's go. Who we got? That was the last one. Oh, look at that. Kelsey in the building.
Period.
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 I'm done.
Kelsey, I know you got Cash App.
And do.
Okay, Kelsey. Text me your Cash App.
Okay, Mr. Kenny.
All right. Text me your Cash App, and I got you. I got you. I'm gonna send you. I'm looking at the chat. Mail her the $5. I don't even think you can send cash in the mail no more. I think they be worried about anthrax and stuff. Anthrax ain't even a thing no more. I don't even think you can do that. Hirsch, I love you, Hirsch. So everybody said they don't have cash out, so we keep this going. We done with that. We done with that. I'm gonna send Kelsey her money, and
Yep, run me my money, Mr. Kenny.
Right. And so yes, say you could have used your mom's if you would have hit. So next time we'll know. I'll cash out your mama the money. You just got to make sure you get it out of her. So
right.
All right. So for those of y'all that we're gonna see on the call tomorrow, we will see y'all tomorrow. If you haven't signed in West Clayton, please make sure you sign in. I know the rest of y'all, Ms. Ward, already got y'all names. We will see y'all tomorrow. For those of y'all that get on the call tomorrow, we will also start back tutoring tomorrow because y'all know we stopped doing tutoring on Tuesdays because we always be on these terrific Tuesday calls. So if you do need help with any of those things, that'll be back up tomorrow. We will send out the links for you to join. We are in the process right now of finally getting a science tutor on, and we've been talking to the science tutor. They seem awesome, and so I'm really excited. For those of y'all that need some help in your science classes, hold on, be strong. We coming. We sorry it's taking us this long, but we should have a science person, starting, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's a thing. And let me look through the chat one more time, make sure ain't nobody say nothing to me. Caleb was like, I ain't got cash app, but I'll make one if I will. Yes, Caleb, that is the right answer.
I have a question.
Yes, who said I got a question?
Destiny.
Oh, what's up, Destiny?
I do not be needing that tutoring at all, but I still be wanting the money. So what you want me to do?
Log in, go talk to Mr. Parham for a minute so he can tell me that Destiny logged in.
I guess.
Listen, let me tell you this. This is the honest to God.
Did y'all hear? I want y'all to do what Destiny's doing, okay? Y'all
right.
Listen.
This is the honest to God truth.
Thank you, Destiny.
There are, even if you don't need the actual tutorial, we have some really smart people that we paying to spend time with y'all. Right. So even if it is okay, Miss Patton is the English tutor, I don't necessarily have a lot that I need help with from Miss Patton on, but Destiny, you're a junior, which means next year you are gonna be hopefully, writing some essays, trying to find some scholarships, that kind of stuff. So saying to Miss Patton even now, hey, Miss Patton, even if it's, what, Destiny, you're a junior. Even if you could get on the call and say, Miss Patton, right now I got this job and I'm trying to get another job. Can you just look over my resume? Miss Patton will do that. Yeah. As an English teacher, Miss Patton will be like, yeah, I'll look at your resume. I'll do these kind of things. So you guys have resources because you're in the program. Use your resources. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all can do a paper and need somebody to edit it. Just be like, you know what, let me just turn this in. Especially if you're not doing well in English or you need assistance in English, or you just did a paper. You're like, you know what, I'm just gonna turn it in. I'm gonna let Miss Wilson. I'm gonna let
class or something.
Miss
And
Patton
you just want somebody to read over something. Miss Patton can do that kind of stuff. Mr. Stevens, all of y'all that have been around, y'all know Mr. Stevens. Mr. Stevens will talk to you all day about anything. Right?
Whatever.
But Stevens will talk to you all day about anything. So you just get on the call and just be like, Miss Stevens, I was thinking about, maybe I want to go to college and major in basket weaving. Mr. Stevens will probably pull out a book and be like, basket weavers are the it's
a whole job. You can do that. That's a job,
and so there's like I said, Parham doing the math, Mr. T, anything history,
econ.
He can definitely talk to you about some of that kind of stuff. So even if you just log in and kind of let them know what you're going on, realistically speaking, and this is just a real thing, that I don't need all of y'all doing this, but me and Ms. Ward have been talking about it, and Ms. Carr. Our plan is also to be doing more individual meetings with some of y'all. And kind of like the group meetings, because we don't get to come to the schools and do group meetings the way we used to do group meetings and that kind of stuff. So realistically speaking, honestly, and this, I maybe I should have cleared this with Ms. Ward before I'm about to say it, but I believe it to be true even with Ms. Ward. If you have, tomorrow, Ms. Ward having a junior meeting, you get on that junior meeting, I ain't create a sign-in sheet for Ms. Ward's junior meeting. So if you were to get on that junior meeting, you can sign in on this week of tutorial sign-in sheet. Like that, to me, that counts as your tutoring this week. right? If Ms. Ward don't have a call, but you and me just have a personal Zoom call, or you call Ms. Carr and say, well, you know, Ms. Carr, this is where I'm at, or Ms. Ward, you know, I need some advice on these things. To me, all of that, because I do understand, Destiny, you are a high achieving student. A lot of y'all are. A lot of y'all don't necessarily need the tutorial. But you know, those conversations with Ms. Ward, with Ms. Carr, with myself, serve the purpose of what we try to do as a program. So if you get on and talk to Ms. Ward for 10 or 15 minutes, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna trip on you if you count that as your contact for the week, as part of your tutorial type thing. You know what I'm saying? The same thing, the same way I'm saying you can have a conversation with Ms. Patton. If that person is Ms. Ward or Ms. Carr or myself, man, sign in, you know what I mean? And it'll be what it is, because
I'm gonna end up telling Kenny, like, oh, yo, I talked to Destiny for an hour the other day. We talked about this, and this. You know what I mean? So eventually we talk about everything.
And I want y'all to get y'all credit for doing that. Because for us, it really is. For me, my biggest thing is I want to make sure that we are having communication with y'all multiple times a month. That's my thing. To me, that communication might be you come to every Terrific Tuesday. That communication might be you did math tutorial. You know, that communication might be you did English and math tutorial, and you had a conversation with Ms. Ward. I just want to make sure that as a program, we are actually touching y'all and dealing with y'all. And the sign-in sheet is just the way that I go back and find out. You know, like that I'll be like, okay, good. This person is at least getting the services. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, you can sign in for all of those things, Destiny. Yes, that is fine with me.
Okay.
Yes.
I need that stipend money, cause
Just said, I need my check.
I know that's right. Run me my money.
I need my check.
I want a job so bad, but I can't work right now. I just feel like I'm not, like I feel broke.
Well, you are probably, and it's okay. I feel broke too.
But at least you working. I can't even if I wanted to get a job, I couldn't right now.
Well, you probably don't need one. Focus on school. You hungry?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
make this your full-time job.
Look, don't spend too much of my money. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't spend. All right, because you got some of my money. Don't spend too much of my money. But don't be hungry either.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Destiny be stealing my Chick-fil-A points, Ward.
Really? How do you do that?
I want to let
Tell
you know.
me how to do that.
Destiny
Teach me how to do that, because
I'm like real life.
No,
we went to Chick-fil-A one day and she was like, no, can I put this on my app? I was like, yo, what are you?
That was like 500 points. That was
Destiny, I feel you. Destiny, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. Yeah.
I'm telling you, them free fries.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
You got like 2,000 points that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right, so then why you hungry?
He doesn't even use them. You're right.
Right.
I do use my Chick-fil-A points. I need y'all to get out my app real quick though. I need y'all.
He does not use them.
Ania in the chat talking about I need some nuggets.
No, they grilled nuggets are the best.
No, the fried nuggets are the best.
Man,
I don't like fried food.
Fried nuggets are the best.
You don't like fried food?
The salad is the best.
Stuff.
Really?
Yes, Hershey. The vegetarian says the salad is the best.
No, that salad is good. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh yeah, that salad is good.
No, the chicken tortilla soup is the bomb.
The chicken tortilla soup is where it's at.
Good. Not the chicken noodle soup. The chicken tortilla soup. The chicken noodle soup is bland.
Chicken
tortilla soup is fire.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell my mom to try it.
Yeah,
I need to try that.
Tortilla soup, it be hidden. I ain't even gonna.
Yeah, Destiny, I only have 625 points. That's it. That's all I have.
625 points. Oh, let me check.
And Kenny got like 3,000 points.
I ain't got that many.
Right,
Mr. Kenny, give me the points.
Right.
How many points you have, Kenny?
Used all mine. I'm back at like 50 points now.
How many you have, Kenny?
Let me see. Let me find my Chick-fil-A app. Well, what you said you got? I ain't got that many points.
Whatever. 625. You need to take us all to lunch. You can take us all to lunch.
On them points alone.
Run them chicken nuggets. Run them chicken nuggets.
It's ridiculous. Watch.
God.
It ain't ridiculous. Oh wait, how much?
625.
Okay. It's kind of bad.
Let me see. That's ridiculous.
If you don't take me to lunch, Mr. Kenny.
That's ridiculous.
My
That
Chick-fil-A
don't
points
make
kinda
any
stupid
sense.
right now. I
Makes
need to
no
go get
sense.
some. I need to go get some stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Dang. Dang, I really thought it wasn't that bad right now. I was like, nah, man, I just used my Chick-fil-A points the other day.
I've been watching your points for over a year, Kenny.
How you been watching my Chick-fil-A points for a year?
I go to Chick-fil-A that often. I know how many points you have. And you and Tia, both of y'all. I've been watching y'all points. And I'm like, I'm the one that go more than both of y'all. And how do y'all have them? You know, I don't get it.
Well, I didn't know my Chick-fil-A points was in that range.
I'm watching. But you know, you can loan them out, can't you?
Can you? You can loan out Chick-fil-A points?
I think you could. I think you could donate them.
Oh, let me find out. I might send some kids some points for real. Then.
Yeah, you can donate them, I think.
Please send them to my mama app. I am hungry.
I'm a Chick-fil-A Red member. I'm an exclusive VIP.
You should be. Oh, I gotta go get my free.
Who knew?
Oh, I get a free brownie.
Ew, that's nasty.
Who knew?
Oh, and 4 count.
Oh, I got a free chicken sandwich in here and a free brownie. My reward game is on deck.
Okay, yeah. Get some rewards here.
I don't know how to send points to nobody else. Oh, I do see it now. Give to a friend. I don't know how to do that though. I need to get somebody for that.
Yes, see.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna send somebody. I'm gonna send my girl Melody some chicken minis because she addicted to them now. She came and did community service with Stokes. And Stokes had chicken minis out there, and Melody took the whole box home. And she was like, "Ooh, there's some left." I
feel like they put honey on something on top of the chicken minis or something. They do something.
I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know what they put in the chicken minis, but
Melody took the whole box home. I was like, "Is there still something in there?" She was out.
I ate them all by myself.
That's what's up.
I don't like no.
I'm gonna figure out how to do this for real. Now I know. I'm gonna figure out how to send somebody some Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Point.
Little spicy chicken. It ain't gonna be Destiny though, cause Destiny already got my stuff.
Bye. I don't even use it.
I got you, Hirsch. That's what it is. That's what it is right there. Hirsch, I'm about to send Hirsch a salad right now. Let me see where the salad is. Hirsch said, send me a salad. I got you, Hirsch. You find you want the cob, the market, or the spicy? Well, you don't eat meat, Hirsch. Which one of these I'm supposed to you for real?
The kale.
But Hirsch like, man, I'm playing. Hirsch, it was about to go down right then, Hirsch. But it's cool. I had you. I was gonna be confused because I was like, I feel like this is kind of pointless sending Hirsch a salad from Chick-fil-A with no chicken in it. But if Hirsch wanted, that's my guy. I had him. Okay. All right. I'm gonna send Hirsch. All right, Hirsch. If I send you this mac and cheese, man, you better go get some.
Oh yes, honey, you need that mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is vegetarian?
This is cross state lines, Uber Eats real quick. I'm gonna give her some mac and cheese. See how this works. All right. Send this reward to a friend. They have 30 days to redeem it. So you
Mr. Kenneth is having too
you
much
gotta
fun.
get this mac and cheese before February 18th, Hirsch.
Mr. Kenneth, you over there having too much fun with that.
I'm having too much fun. Sending her.
Yeah.
You sound like that sound like hate in your system. Okay.
Hey, let it happen. Let it happen.
I can't send it, Hirsch. I gotta email it. So which one of these email addresses you want me to send it to?
I'm vegan, so don't worry about me.
Hirsch should be I don't know. Hirsch is vegetarian.
Right, I don't eat dairy nor meat.
Oh no, babe. Oh no,
hard like
More power to you, so I'm proud of you.
That's good, honey. Yeah. No, I can't do that.
Trust me, I had my craves. I missed my fried chicken for a little bit, but I'm way past that.
Yeah.
Girl, I don't know how you do it. I'll be up here smacking on my chicken and stuff.
Hirsch. There. Bam, bam. All right. Boom, boom. Oh, get it.
No, I like that shirt.
You like my shirt?
I like that shirt, Kenny.
Miss Kenny, I need me a shirt.
I like that.
You don't like my shirt, Flo?
No,
Kenny,
I told
hate
you how
that
you
you.
should
I know
do
It's
it.
you don't like
nice.
the Destiny, but you're a hater. I was asking Flo.
I like that.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
not no hater. It's
'cause
just
Virgo-
too much. Like you
Malala.
got to. I don't know, man. It's just too much going on for me.
I mean,
But
it
Like
is.
some of
but
this
it's
should have
too
been
much.
on the back, you know.
It's too much. Too many words. What are you saying?
I mean, yeah, it is too much, but it clearly gets the message across. Oh,
It
wait.
do. But like the UB symbol is just in the middle and it's just knocking it all off. That's
So
why
what
I
should
feel
be on
like
the back?
whole Clayco made me, raised me, then the UB train me should be on the back, and then you got
That
the little
yeah.
emblem right
How
here.
about that?
That's
Let's do
yeah.
I
Hey,
can
wait,
do
wait,
that.
wait. Let's do that. Actually, I do want that, and I want the shirt, but I want mine on the back.
Yes,
I-
I
Right.
want
I'm
that
with-
same color.
No,
We can
I
do-
think
and we can do
Clayco
that.
raised
We can
me
do that.
need to be on the back.
Yes.
No,
On
do
the-
Clayco raised me, Clayco made me, but
And then what's the name on the
the,
back?
on the back, you betrayed me.
Train
That's
me. Yeah.
fine.
I
With
like
that
that.
little symbol and everything on the back.
Kenny, how
Yeah,
about we
Clayco
let them?
raised
I
me
wish
and
they could
really-
all design their own shirt with the same phrases, and we all have the similar, the same font, but just put it where we want to put it, and it'll be
Hey,
cool
why
if we
Miss
can
Ward-
all do
why
our
Miss-
own.
Hey, for real, why Miss Ward saying that? I'm supposed to be talking to my boss in a couple of days, man. I'm trying to get us a maker space. This is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get us a maker space. So I want to get
Good
us
luck.
like a 3D printer and get like a couple of t-shirt making machines and I want us to have.
Okay.
I want
But
a
see,
water
we got
bottle.
shirts. I want sweatpants, Mr. Kenny. You
Oh,
don't get
yes. I want some sweatpants and jackets.
Well, you gotta think about
Ooh.
this. If we get like
we
all
get
of that maker space stuff, then we can
It's
make
gonna
it
be in-
ourselves.
That's true.
I done
Make
told you
yourself
we
some
should have
sweatpants.
socks and shoes and everything.
I don't know
Like
if
we
I'm
be
making
You know what would be
down.
nice?
cobbler for
We
that.
get
I gotta
Wait.
make
Oh,
a
let's
space
do
right
some
now. I can make
joggers
some.
with you be trained me like on the side of the leg. That would be fun.
I'm just saying, I've been talking. I really am trying to get us to get like a 3D printer and like like a t-shirt machine. And I'm just like, let's just do things.
Let's do our
So
own.
that's your final logo?
You said
Or
what?
is that your final logo or you got another logo?
No, that's the logo.
No, that's his shirt.
On everything. But if you want to make one, make a better one. I ain't
I mean, I wasn't saying all of that.
no. Oh no, I wasn't saying that bad either. I don't listen.
No, that's what he wore today. He's actually we're gonna have to come up with something. I actually like that
This
because I
logo for like everything, but it ain't.
that's
But it's
I
just a
could
logo.
understand. Like your shirt, I like the little top part, and I can understand how it's too much because it looks kind of thrown on there. Like you just try to smush it all together. But if you put that UB trained me part on the back, that would be nice.
Yeah, and move the logo. That's what. Okay, I feel you. We're gonna work.
I like that.
With the logo, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Oh yeah. Hirsch, I actually bought this hat because that summer we had the burgundy and navy blue Upward Bound shirts. So I had always intended to put Clayco off this seat. I just ain't never do it. But in my head, it was always the plan. I was gonna have this C, and I was gonna put Clayco off of it this way, Clayco, and then I was gonna put the Upward Bound symbol on it. I just ain't never do it. So that might have to come back because I actually got a good deal on this hat. This hat was $5. I was like, what? LeBron leave and Cleveland just.
So question, is there upward bounds like in different counties?
Yes, and different states and Puerto Rico.
They're all over. All over the world. All over the world.
Programs look different in different places, right? And so you're new here, so this is new information for you. A lot of people think of like Upward Bound as like a black kid program. It's not.
It's not.
It's that you live in Clayton County.
Right.
So you go to like Kentucky or you go to like Montana where they have Upward Bound, it's all
white.
Like so some of the people that me and Ms. Ward, are close to, some of our colleagues that work in different states, their program is like, oh, it's like 2 black kids in your whole Upward Bound program. Like, yes. So when y'all go places and y'all applying for scholarships, y'all saying that kind of stuff, and you say like, I was in Upward Bound, you'd be surprised how many people really know like what that is, because in different parts of the country, it looks totally different. In California, in Texas, it's a lot of Latinos that are in Upward Bound programs. Other minorities too. But it's really based on just where you at. So for us, it's just so that we in Clayton County. So our program is mostly Black and Asian and Latino. But in other places it looks completely
It's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
And
what
if you'll notice when we travel, when we used to travel, we would travel, and I mean big time. If we will roll out. I mean, I just remember going on a trip with 120 kids at one time, going to Six Flags and going, being in New Orleans, and it's like, oh my gosh, we have so many students with us. I hope we don't leave anybody. Having that fear every time we go somewhere.
right.
And knowing, I used to wonder why do everyone have to wear these loud shirts? Well, it's helpful. When I first started, I'm like, why do we have to wear these loud orange and lime green shirts? But it's because when we're at a big amusement park, it's easy to see all the Upward Bound students from afar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The furthest I've ever been on an Upward Bound trip is California. I wasn't on that trip long, but that's the furthest I've been. Ward, what's your longest trip? Chicago, maybe?
Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Chicago's further than New Orleans. Right. So Chicago, Chicago, DC is
New York. Yep.
I mean, as a group, Hirsch, we took like 35 students to California. It wasn't like the whole program.
On a plane.
We took like 35 students to California. We took like, about that many.
We took 30 to New York.
We took like 30 when we were in New York. We did Miami a couple of years ago. Miami's, it doesn't feel like it's far, but it's far. It's far. But yeah, so those are the farthest I've been. California, I did Chicago, Ward, New Orleans. But there are programs that go everywhere. So we know people that have done trips to Las Vegas. We know people that have done trips to Puerto Rico. We know people that have done trips, you know what I mean? So people do all kinds of things. Like, it's just I want to take y'all to Canada. That's right. Yeah, we've been talking about Canada. We've been talking about Canada for a couple of years, man. It's just it ain't really, the pandemic didn't help, but we've been talking about Canada for a couple of years. A lot of times we're not supposed to do international travel. So a lot of times when Upward Bound programs do like Canada, they'll do like upstate New York, and then they'll just have a day where they like hop over the border.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Go to Niagara Falls and then just going over there.
To get over that. We listen, when we've done, every time I've been on a plane with Upward Bound, there have been kids on the trip that it was their first time on a plane. So that would not be only you, Melanie. If we get to do a plane trip in the next couple of years, you're just a sophomore. If we get to do a plane trip in the next couple of years, which Ms. Ward is really about, Ms. Ward has been saying, if we can travel again, she wants to go far. She's been saying that for real.
Not even just that, but nobody want to be on that bus for all them hours. Like we always
want to fly.
So Ms. Ward has been saying, if we get to travel, she wants to go far. So we might be able to do a plane. If we do a plane, it's okay. We'll sit you next to a vet and you can hold somebody's hand. And if you got to squeeze their hand while the plane taking off, we'll give you some bubble gum and just be like, it's okay. Now the thing about that though, like we're saying, it's different things going on in that, because now it's, when is the world going to open back up for us to travel? And then once we get the green light to travel, are we going to also get the green light to get on a plane?
Right.
So there might be a lot just for them to let us get on the bus. When we throw in, we also want to fly to, Oregon. They might be like, what? You going to Portland? Who the hell? Like, ain't nobody signed off on that. So, so it's going to be some of that. All right, Hirsch, we'll see you later, man.
Bye, Hirsch.
But yeah, Kelsey, I see that you want to visit a college in New York. New York is cool. I personally hate New York. Not hate New York. I hate New York with students. New York is not a very group
friendly. It's not a group friendly.
So when you're talking about walking around New York with 50 or 60 kids, it is not the move. And like New York's not a bus place, so you can't really jump on the charter bus and go from place to place. It's not really like that. So we've done New York, and it was like, we trying to all jump on the subway together, and everybody
not making it.
Don't get off the train, just ride. And look, New York is stressful on my end as a person that has to logistically plan.
It's stressful anyway.
And be responsible for 40 or 50 kids. That's not to say we can't ever do New York.
If I do it, we're gonna have to do it. It'll be a group. It'll be a class trip. It'll be a smaller group.
Right. So New York might be the kind of thing that we do as a smaller group. So we got a couple of y'all on the line now. It's Destiny. It's Ania. It's Kelsey. you know, Caleb, I see Caleb on here. New York might be the kind of thing that, like, we pull off just for y'all senior class, but we ain't taking the whole program.
You can't do that.
Yes, Michelle, I'm sorry. It does suck for class of 2021. I'm sorry. 2022 is going to reap some of the benefits of how bad the pandemic has been.
Yeah.
2020
because we're going to ball out.
Yeah.
Period.
We listen, even as adults, even us, the grown folks, we've been stuck in the house so long. By the time they give us the green light and tell us, oh yeah, y'all can go ahead and pick up, resume what y'all been doing.
About to go.
Let me just tell y'all. So people like who on the call? Melanie, Baca, Flo, Kaden, Annie. Y'all ain't never done a summer with Upward Bound.
I think
the summer is the best.
They're right. The last physical summer that we had, I think, was a really good summer. I mean, they did iFly. They doing indoor skydiving. We did whitewater. We did all that kind of stuff. And then that summer trip was
fire.
Right. I mean, we on Virginia Beach and we doing zip lining through the trees, and we went to Duke and North Carolina, and we did a whole bunch of stuff. I cannot wait until we can go do that kind of stuff again.
Yeah.
So
that makes the job fun.
I'm sorry it sucks for y'all, but at least you got to go on that trip, Michelle. I'm glad you were there for that. Like, because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Did Destiny, did you get a chance to go?
Yeah,
Destiny get a chance to go? That's right. She went to Virginia. That's right. Virginia.
I'm not even Caleb. I commend them younger students, because if I wouldn't have gotten to go to the summer thing and go to the trips, I don't even think I would still be in the program.
You know, that's really
you would not.
And I agree with you. If you would,
that's real. You're right.
You really didn't start rocking with us until the summer. Like, you was in the program for that whole year, and you really liked me, but you didn't really like Upward Bound. And then you came in the summertime, and I think you started to like Upward Bound, which was good. And I'm glad you're on the team now. But if you didn't do that summer,
you wouldn't be here right now.
Anyway, because remember, I told you and Alicia that if y'all ain't come that summer, I was kicking both of y'all out. So you.
Alicia did come. That's right.
Yeah, I told both of them that. I'm like, if you don't come this summer, I'm gonna kick you out.
Caleb, did you come on a trip?
Caleb said no.
He was at Morehouse, I think, that summer.
Yeah, Caleb ain't like us.
I think he went to Morehouse that summer for some,
Melanie, don't be trying to stunt. You know what it is. Melanie talking about, I only really applied to the program for college help. I didn't.
That's literally what happened. I didn't know anything until that first meeting.
Really?
But yeah, the college help is cool. All the other stuff is the fun stuff, though.
Yeah.
I wish I had found y'all like last year so I could have did something.
You should have been looking harder.
I mean, and nobody was putting me on. Nobody in my school really knew about you. Just Miss Newton, and she ain't really, spread the word like that.
Hey, Caleb, she said you ain't doing what you supposed to be doing at your school.
Kelsey, did you go with us?
No, I had to go home.
Yeah, they missed it.
You missed it too?
No, but I'm not missing this trip.
I remember them. I remember that they weren't there. But y'all
I was crying because I wanted to go.
But y'all came to Kentucky, right?
They went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came to Kentucky, but they missed that one. I remember they weren't there for the summer, but they came to Kentucky.
I was so heartbroken. I wanted to go.
You would have really liked the summer. Y'all would have really.
Yeah, the summer you would have been
Let me tell y'all, some students just only want to come during the summer.
Yeah.
At one point, they would only want to do summer stuff with Upward Bound.
Yeah. So it's going down though. As soon as we get the green light, homie, it's going down.
I could say so far what I like about y'all, because y'all came in the little meeting in our class. I was just here in college. I was like, yeah, I needed all the help I could get.
I'm sorry for messing with you that day, but let me tell you this is a secret of mine, because this is just how I am. I know, and Ms. Ward knows this about me. When we do recruiting trips, I'm pretty good at that. Like I kind of look at rooms and kind of be like, okay, it's like 15 people in here, but who are like the 2 or 3 people that I'm talking to? And then I just be like, I'm only talking to these 2 or 3 people. The rest of these people ain't really worth my energy. So I really was bothering you. And so I'm glad you went ahead and did the application, because I really was like, no, that kid is sick. Yeah. The rest of these people just kind of on this call. So I know I was picking on you a little bit in that conversation. But it worked because you're here, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad.
I'm
Yeah.
very,
I
I'm very
joined Upward
pleased.
Bound my freshman year.
Yep.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah, I
hey,
just heard college and I was like, I need all the scholarships I can get. I need help because I already don't know what college I want to do, what course I want to be in. Like I'm confused and time going by very fast.
That's what we're here for. And you know, we got a little bit more time with you, and we glad for that. So, you know, it'll only get better. I promise you that. It'll only get better.
but I Upward Bound, I would have dropped out by now.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, you
But I
wouldn't
am
have.
I was
glad
gonna
that you-
give up my
but I am so glad you wouldn't have dropped out. You might have got put out.
I was tired of
Oh
school.
yeah, you might have been in alternative school somewhere without us. So I'm glad that you got Miss Moore in your life.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
And I don't want you fighting at work. Though. I do want you to just pull it together. That is not ladylike, okay? So ladies do not fight, okay? Ladies don't fight. We talk about, we discuss, and we walk away.
For real.
We walk away.
So I was trying to tell him, I was like, if we can talk it out.
And let me finish. We walk away until somebody put hands on you, and then that's when you have to, have a come to Jesus meeting, okay?
You're right.
So Miss Ward don't walk away from, Miss Ward is not a back down type of person, but I'm not here to start fight.
We're trying to get past that point of Upward Bound. You know what I mean? When you can have a point in Upward Bound, literally, I've gotten called to high schools before because an Upward Bound kid was about to get in a fight, and I get to the school and it's like 3 Upward Bound kids sitting in there, and I'm like, what happened? And they was gonna jump her, so we just jumped in. I'm like, this is not what Upward Bound is for.
No, we want you guys to have each other's backs, but not like that.
I'll be like, you're in Upward Bound. Talk your friend out of fighting.
Don't help her fight.
They told her to meet them in the bathroom. I wasn't gonna let her go in there by herself, so I went in there too. And then and I'm like,
no.
Hi, principal. I'm sorry. I thought I was mentoring these babies. I don't know what happened. So we that's not where we going in Upward Bound. We need y'all to carry y'all.
I just think it was the way he approached me, because he would approach me in a calm, cool, and collect way. I would have been nicer to him. But when you start throwing my purse and stuff, oh honey, no. Because when we do that, you don't throw my purse. My phone was in there and everything. You don't pay these bills, honey. Calm down.
I miss y'all so much.
I know I miss y'all so much.
All
of y'all.
Because if I get in trouble, he get in trouble too.
Okay. Well, stay safe. Don't fight nobody.
Be good.
Me and Ms. Ward gonna continue working on some of the stuff we're working on. Juniors, we will see y'all tomorrow
at 3:30.
And next Tuesday, we got a call with Georgia State and some of our alums from Georgia State. They're gonna be talking us through Georgia State. So if you're interested in Georgia State, that'll probably be a good call to get on to. Yeah,
okay.
All right, y'all. See y'all later.
All right. Have a good night. Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.